noticed something. Like, I go to my boys one time, as I'm older, side note. I'm like, yo, man, haven't you noticed? Every time they come out with something cool, black, all of a sudden there's a white equivalent. And my boys are looking at me like, what do you mean? I was like, all right, listen up, handball. You guys remember handball? They're like, yeah. I was like, you guys remember black magic? They were like, ooh, black magic. I was like, well, now there's white magic. And they were like, why? I was like, I don't know. I was like, black pepper. You guys know what black pepper is, right? Black pepper. Did you know there's white pepper? Yeah. Somebody in here is thinking salt? No, not salt. Right? Not salt. White pepper. Alright? What else? We got Michael Jack. Not too soon. My bad. I'm sorry. Right? And they're looking at me, they're like, Dee, what are you talking about? There is no like correlation between, and maybe you're right. Maybe I'm just overthinking things until one day something changed my life forever. Okay? I'm driving to Sacramento. Shout out to the Bay Area. Where'd you go? I see you, Bay Area. I got you. Don't worry, I got you. I'm driving out to Sacktown, right? And I get there kind of late, midnight-ish, 11:30, midnight-ish. And I'm hungry, but I'm not hungry. Okay? So I stop by this Pavilions. Okay? And my favorite snack ever since I was a little boy, Oreos, Milk's favorite cookie, okay? So I go to this Pavilions and I ask the store clerk, I say, excuse me, do you guys have Oreos? She's like, absolutely, aisle 4. So I'm like, all right, cool. I head down to aisle 4. Now we all do the same thing when we're in the grocery store looking for something, okay? It's called the grocery store shuffle. Looks like this. Some of us do spirit fingers and talk to ourselves. We're like, You seasoned grocery shoppers don't even have to, you just got you. Nope. Right? Right here I am looking for these Oreos, and all of a sudden, I see it on the bottom shelf. Changed my life forever. Don't make me laugh, I'm in the zone, okay. Now for you extremely uptight people, that's what we call a joke. You'd be surprised how many people are like, oh, I can't believe you brought this racist speaker. Get out of here, loosen up. Anyway, right, so that I did the same routine every day. Okay, I go out, I play with my boys, you know what I'm saying? We're doing whatever we're doing, and every day I did the exact same thing. I go home, right? We had like these little steps, and I walk up my steps, and I open the door. Well, it was like a gate first. I'd open the gate, and then I open the door to my house. Every single day I did the exact same thing. And on this particular day, I opened up the door to my house, and I felt this energy. Right? I described it as like a warm, negative energy. We know it as tension. Okay? You guys have felt tension before? Tension, right? If you're married, you know what I'm talking about. If you have a boss, you know what I'm talking about. Okay? Tension. I felt this tension. I was like, man, this is weird for our house because, like I said, we got along. So I'm going to my room like I did every single day. Same routine every day. I'm going to my room, but out of the corner of my eye, I see my mom and she's in the kitchen. When I say my mom, I'm referring to my first foster mom. I see my mom and she's in the kitchen and she's crying. I'm about 4 years old. 4-year-olds were nosy, right? So, make a beeline to the kitchen. When I get to the kitchen, I see this other lady right there by the stove. Now, this other lady is a family friend. Came to visit us from time to time, sat each one of us down, asked us how we were doing, turned out to be a... All right, if I got that one wrong, get out. No, she was a social worker, but she was cool, heavily involved with us. So much so that we thought she was a cousin, family friend cousin. I mean, every time she got, she ate dinner with us, she watched movies with us, so she was there, you know? And I saw her crying, so I knew something was wrong. So I go up to my mom and I wrap my arms around my mom's legs, like 4-year-olds do. And in my 4-year-old voice, which doesn't sound too much different than this one. That's not funny. You'd be surprised how many times I go to the drive-thru. Hi, welcome to McDonald's. What can we get for you? I'll take a number 2 with a Dr. Pepper, just a medium size. Okay, ma'am. You guys are evil, man. It's not funny. So here I am, I wrap my arms around my mom's legs and I look at my mom and say, Mom, what's wrong? And my mom, she looks at me with tears in her eyes. I'm just cooking onions. Because moms have this talent, right? If you're a mom, you have this talent, this innate ability. Nobody can do this better than you can. What is it? Lying. Thank you for being honest. Yeah, you guys lie. And it's not to cause harm, right? It's not to cause harm. It's not to be malicious. It's just that when women have children, it's like something in their DNA changes to where they don't want their kids to worry. So they're constantly making big things smaller all the time. And nobody is better than doing that than mom. So I look at my mom, what's wrong? I'm just cooking onions. I'm 4 years old. So I'm like, cool. That makes sense. So I go to my room, I do my thing. It's morphin' time. The very next day, I'm outside. I'm playing freeze tag with my boys. You guys ever played freeze tag before? Freeze tag is the game. Let me take you guys back, man. Freeze tag, handball. If you've never played freeze tag or handball, this is my advice for you, okay? Get a life. Yeah, get a life, all right? So I'm playing freeze tag with my boys. We're having fun. And I know, like, when you're little and you used to go outside, you knew when it was time to go inside, right? That one street light starts to flicker and you're like, whoop, gotta go. So here I am, I'm outside, and that was back when, you know, everybody was a parent. Your whole community was a parent. Like, if you got upset, and you know, next door neighbor down the street saw you, oh, they had full rights. You know what I'm saying? To be like, yo, get your stuff together. You know what I'm saying? Nowadays, you gotta be all cautious and stuff. You know, don't do that. I'm gonna text your mom. They're like, oh, okay, Mrs. Johnson, you old hag. You know, and then they take off. Like, they don't care anymore. So I'm outside playing freeze tag with my boys. My spider sense starts tingling. Time to go home. Okay? So I did the same thing. I used to run home, you know, little kids. Right? Run home, come up my steps, open up the gate, open up the door to my house. I felt this tension again. I'm 4 years old. Our cognitive and our logical reason level are only so high. So I'm thinking, I felt this yesterday. Mom said she was cooking onions. Maybe we're having leftover. You know? I go to my room, Toys R Us on Black Friday, and I open the door to my room, nothing's in there. No toys, no clothes, no bedding, nothing. The only thing left is a suitcase and my other pair of shoes. Now I'm about 4 years old, so I'm about yay high. And I see my mom, she's up there, and she comes up to me, she gets in this exact position, and she's crying. And I see over there, right by the china cabinet, right, our family friend kind of nestled in the corner with her back turned, as you know, a position that says, I don't want to see what's gonna happen next. When you're 4 years old, you don't understand that. So here I am, I'm 4 years old. My mom comes up to me, gets in this exact position, holds both of my hands just like this, and I'm like, Mom, what's going on? Where's all my stuff? And she looks at me and she says, you're moving. Now I notice my dad isn't there, my brothers aren't there, my sisters aren't there, my stuff is packed up. So I'm like, all right, cool, well hurry up, we're waiting on you. And she looks at me and she says, no, you're moving. Now 4-year-olds, like I said, are logical and our cognitive reasoning level are only so high. But there's something that we're experts at, and that's the tone of our mother's voice. We know when she's kidding, we know when she's joking, we know when she's not feeling well, we know when we get away with a few things. We know when she was serious, and I knew my mom was serious. And I looked at her and I asked, why? Now she knew I wouldn't understand the real reason to why I was leaving that day, so she did what moms do. And she made something big or smaller, and I guess the only thing that popped in her head was there's not enough room for you. Now when you're 4 years old and you hear there's not enough room for you, you think you're too what? Big. Not in a sense of weight or anything, but you're using too many resources. So in my 4-year-old mind, I try to conjure ways to make myself. So I look at my mom and say, Mom, if somebody needs my snack, give it to them. I'm okay. I don't need to eat. And that didn't work. Mom, if somebody needs my bed, can't you just put my sleeping bag on the couch? I'll even sleep outside. And that didn't work. So the last thing I could come up with was an apology. I looked at my mom and said, Mom, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I did anything wrong. I'm sorry if I made you upset. I'm sorry if I made Dad upset. I'll be a better son. I just want to stay. Now, whatever I said during that last plea, it really got to my mom. She was crying already, but man, something pulled on her heart, and it's probably because I had no idea what I was talking about. And she only had enough strength. She leaned over. She gave me the tightest hug. Held me by my face, kissed me on my forehead. She said, son, I love you. And that was the last time I ever saw her. Social worker grabbed my hand, grabbed my stuff, put us in the car, we drove off. Everything that I knew for 4 years of my life was gone, just like that. But toddlers are what we call resilient. And resilience, by Webster's definition, an ability to recover from or adjust easily, this blah, 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 no one's going to remember that. So this is my definition, all right? Resilience, the ability to bounce back, right? Resilience, the ability to bounce back. Say it with me. Resilience, the ability to bounce back. One more time. Resilience, the ability to bounce back. There is no one, we all possess this ability to bounce back, but there is no one more efficient at it than toddlers. Okay? So here I am, man. I'm in this new foster home. Of course I miss my mom. Of course I miss my dad. But it is what it is. So I'm in this new foster home. Over time, they start telling me that they love me. And I start telling them that I love them. They start calling me son. I start calling them mom and dad. I go to a new school, new friends, new family, you know? And then one day I get home, and it's like deja vu. My stuff is packed and I'm moving again. Why? Well, DCFS is not going to sit there and tell a 4-year-old, well, this is how foster care works. You got temporary foster parents, and you have permanent foster parents. Right now, we're building you up, or these guys are going to take care of you until we find a more permanent place for you. But when you're 4 years old, I don't care what kind of parent you are. If you have some sort of heart, you're going to get a little bit attached. And temporary foster care, you guys know, can last 6 months. It can last a year. It can last, a year and a half, 2 years. So here I am, and I get to another foster home. Same thing. Over time, they start telling me that they love me. I start telling them that I love them. They start calling me son. I start calling them mom and dad. New school, new friends. Over time, or one day I get home, stuff's packed, moving again. So I get to this new home. Now it's just me and this mom, who I was thinking, now that I'm a little older, was probably meant to be, my permanent foster parent. But she doesn't know this guy's moved 3 times already. All right? So when it comes to new people, I'm a little standoffish. But she does everything she can to try to make me feel comfortable, try to make me happy, try to, just love me. And I'm just like, I've been here before. Let me fill this out for a while. Who knows? Eventually, she goes to the agency and she says, you know what? I've done everything I possibly can. He's just not happy here. So what happens? Stuff is packed and you move it again. So now I'm in the back of my social worker's car. I'm sitting there, and back then, early 90s, they used to make cars with this little window in the back that can open up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you had that window, you had this little window, and it was opened up, and I remember just hearing, the wind, and kind of just sitting in my booster seat, and just kind of thinking like, yo, every time I get to a new home, and I tell them that I love them, and they call me son, and I call them mom and dad, every single time I do that, they move me. So in order for me to stay, what do I need to do? The exact opposite. Why? Because I want a family. I want to open up Christmas presents. I want people to celebrate my birthday. I want one of those family portraits above the fireplace where everybody's like, I want one of those. I want that opportunity where you walk by the park. I remember I used to walk by this park on my way to school, right? This dad and his son in that swing that looks like a big diaper, right? Just pushing them, laughing, pushing them, laughing, and they're having a good time. And man, I used to break my heart, man. Why? Because I wanted that. I wanted to be out there with my dad, man. I wanted a mom that, cooked dinner and, tucked me in and things like that. All that crazy stuff that you see on TV when you're watching cartoons. And the mom comes back, tells a little story, kisses you on your forehead, and good night, and turns off the light. I wanted that, man. I desired that. I hungered for that. So I'm ready now, right? Because what I've been doing has been wrong. telling these people that I love them, that's not the right way to do it. So I'm ready. I get to this new home, and I got it down pat. Over time, they're like, we love you. I'm like, I hate you. Come down for dinner. No. Hold my hand. No. Behave. No. Listen to the teacher. No. Stop saying no. No. Now, if you know anything about foster care, you get to a home and they can't control you, what happens? Your stuff is packed and you're moving again. It was at that moment in my life where I fell into the state of hopelessness. I was 8 years old. 8 years old. I didn't care about myself. I didn't care about anybody else. I was angry. I was hurt. I was scared. I was alone. I felt like a piece of trash. You take them, I don't want them. 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 At this point in time, I'm 8 years old. So these different foster parents that I have, different colors, different ethnicities, I know you're not my mom. So how bad would I have to be? How ugly as a child did I have to be for my mom not even to want to take care of me? Those are the things that run through my head. And I was bad. When you have kids, the doctor says, refrain from calling your kids bad. Right? Say that's not good, or not that's not good, but say, we don't do that because blah, blah, this and that. Calling them bad, like, ruins their psyche or whatever. I was bad. So I forgive you. Actually, I'm going to do it. Nah, I'll do it up here. I forgive you guys if you can't see me. So I'll give you an example of just how bad I was. So one day, I'm in elementary school. Right? I decide I'm going to be a jerk. Put my feet on the desk. Teacher says, get your feet off the desk. I'm all, my bad. Take my feet off. But now I have the classroom's attention. So every time the teacher turns around to instruct, what am I doing? I'm like, oh, watch this. You remember the ceiling that used to have holes in it? We used to count. Then I get caught. Not because I was too slow. Never that. Don't make me laugh. Let me go. Taking off my feet, I knocked down that clear color pencil box we used to have. You guys remember that? You sent your school the clear color pencil box? Teacher says, that's it, Dee. Putting your name on the board. Okay? Now we all know, back then, all right? I mean, if you're like in your 20s, 21, might be different than you. But back then, you get your name written on the board, worst thing that can ever happen to you in elementary school. Okay? Worst thing. Nowadays, I'm like I take my daughter to school and her teacher has well, they get a bat if they're good, they get a ball if they get a warning, and whoa, if they get a glove, woo. I'm like, yo, save some money. Just write their name on the board, save effect. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's trying to be creative, like, yo, there's nothing, for kids, there's nothing worse than one, getting your name on the board, or two, your mama saying, wait till your daddy gets home. Same effect. So there I am. Get my name written on the board. Class does what? Well, nowadays you guys laugh because you're brutal and heartless, but back then, yeah, all together now. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Ooh. I was going through so much that day that it literally felt like when the class was going, ooh, somebody was pouring boiling hot water into my body. That's exactly how it felt. Just, and all of a sudden, 8 years, I exploded. I said, you did what? Kick my desk. Wow, sorry. Flip over my chair. Wow. I'm like, teacher, you fat B man, F this class. Y'all don't know anything about me. I hate all y'all. Y'all don't know anything about me. Little kid looking at me like, what's going on? What you looking at, fool? Wow. Kick open the door, boom. I'm flipping everybody off. Your fingers like this big in elementary school, right? And I'm hot, man. I'm upset. Now, for some reason, males, black males, when we get upset, we gotta we gotta release all this tension and this energy. So when we get upset, it looks a lot like this. I swear. Don't know anything about me, man. Right? Now, I don't know about you guys, but when I cry, or when I get upset, I cry. And it's not like, it's like hot tears running down my face. That's just how we do it. That's how we get upset, right? We all get mad differently. You guys know. Like my Hispanic people, when you get mad, you just start speaking fluent Spanish. Finger pointing, that's your thing. Finger pointing. For you older Hispanics, you know when mom took off them chocolates, you know. You know what time it was. Bye, bye, bye. You know what? Right? Yeah, that's just how it is, man. We all get mad differently. You know? Don't make me laugh. I'm in the zone. So here I am. I'm upset, man. I get to my vice principal's office. Now, I was always in her office. Now, when I say this, I mean it. It's not an under or over exaggeration. I was in my principal's office every single day. Every day. Every single day. And on this particular day, I'm hot, man. I get to her office. Obviously, my teacher has already called. He's on his way again. Cuss me out. He slapped 2 people, you know, whatever. So hey, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, stupid teacher, write my name on the board. I hate this class. I hate this school. And I'm thinking, I'm in trouble every day. I don't want to be here. They don't want me here. So I sit there and say, why don't you just send me home? And there she is. She's writing at her desk. She hears that. Why don't you just send me home? She puts her pen down. She gets up. She walks up to me. She gets down at my level just like this. She looks me right into the eyes and she says, because you have potential. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, let me analyze this real quick. I kick my desk. I'm pretty sure I cut Frank and Jesse in half. I flip over my chair, cut out my teacher. I slap 2 innocent bystanders, kick open the door, flip everybody off, come in here, yell at my vice principal. The only thing this lady has to say is, you have potential? I'm like, lady, I'm 8. What the hell does potential mean? But if I were to see her today, I'd give her the biggest hug. Not only because she was right, but because of what she did for me that day. Now, she did 3 extraordinary things for me. 3 physical things. The first one was what? She got down at my level. She could have easily been like, little boy, shut up. But she got down at my level. See, and I want you guys to pay attention to this. This right here is a sense of understanding. Not teacher to student, not adult to little boy. This right here is human to human. How many of you guys have ever been talked down to? Go ahead. I know your boss is in here, but raise your hand. And you know, I don't mean to, you know, put you guys out on blast or anything. If you're a parent, you do the exact same thing, right? I have to catch myself. My daughter and her 3rd grade teacher, they used to bash heads all the time. Because my daughter just yap. That's all she does is talk, right? And her teacher, they didn't know. Like, they would call home and we're like, yo, my daughter has never gotten as many letters home as with you. So, you know, of course, nowadays, parents, the teacher must be doing something wrong, right? So we go to the school, me and her mom, and we're like, yo, my daughter says she's getting gloves and all this other stuff. I was like, you know, right? And I'm like, this has never happened. And we sit down and her teacher sits to me and she says, your daughter talks a lot. And I just start cracking up laughing, right? And, you know, she's all offended, like, is this funny? And I'm like, it's my fault. I was like, it's completely my fault. She's like, well, what do you mean? I was like, well, I'm an inspirational speaker. Like, all I do is, that's what I do for a living. It's like, I talk. I'm super social. And my daughter, she carries on her dad's trait. And she starts laughing. You know what I mean? Because bling, it makes sense now, you know? So it was like a teachable moment to teach my daughter when and where to, you know, have these conversations and so on and so forth. And after that, they got along well. But she was able to get down at my level to tell me that, yo, this is what this means. Is this acting out that this 8-year-old boy is doing, cussing and slapping people and all that other stuff? This is him not being able to communicate that he's hurt. Not being able to communicate that there's something going on in his life. And getting down at my level, she saw right through that. Right through that. Because there's no 8-year-old boy on this planet who wakes up and says, I'm going to cuss everybody out, I'm going to do this. Our mind isn't built like that right now. You're taught that. Or there's something that's going on in your life to where you're trying to express that to people and say, look, I need help. I need you to pay attention to me. I need you to drag me by my hand and take me to the office because I'm missing that touch from somebody. Whether you whoop me, whatever the case may be, that's the attention that I'm craving for. I need you to sit down, break this shell open, and sit there and tell me it's okay. It's gonna be all right. What are you going through? And that's what she did for me. That's the first step. Now, second step was what? Eye contact, right? Here in America, we avoid that, especially California. Right? Think about it. Right? We walk past people, hey, how you doing? Oh, it's good. And people stare at you long enough, you get all, you know what I'm saying? Like earlier today, where's she at? Where'd she go? I completely blanked on her name. No, sorry, don't kill me afterwards. Anyway, we were at the coffee little thing, and I was like, how are you? She's like, oh, I'm doing great. She's like, not really. Yeah, I just say that when I'm in social settings, you know? And it's like, it's true. Right? All of you guys felt some type of way this morning. And every person that walked past you, hey, how is it going? I'm great. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're sad. You're upset. Or maybe you're overjoyed, whatever the case may be. And we do that. So, I've noticed that. So one time I did this experiment. I went to this mall and people would say, oh, how are you? And I'm like, I'm great. How are you? Oh, I'm great. And I'd say, yeah, really? And you should see the response, right? Like, why are you talking to me? You just said you were great. You just said things were going well. Let's have a conversation. And people flipped out because that's how we are. Hi, bye, we're on a routine. But she looked me right to the eyes. The eyes are the windows to the soul. I have no idea what potential meant, but I remember this day like it happened 10 seconds ago. And the last thing that she did was this. I was always in her office every single day, meaning I wasn't where? In class or at home. She never sent me home, no matter what I did. Think about that. You cuss out your teacher, you hitting people, storming out of school, yelling at your vice principal. That's immediate suspension. Go home. We don't want to deal with you. But she never sent me home, ever. That means that she what? That she cared about me. So without even using words, this is what she told me. And I'm going to tell you guys the exact same thing. Now, don't get me wrong. I love what you do. I love what you do for people. I love what you do for students. I love what you do for your family. But let's be real. Right here in this room, you guys are dealing with some stuff of your own. Right here in this room. Right here in this room, we're trying to create a better life for students. We're trying to get students to open up. But some of you guys haven't even opened up yourselves. Some of you guys are dealing with what your students are dealing with every single day. And you chose to bury it. You chose to ignore it. You haven't talked about it. Some of you guys haven't talked to your parents in years. You don't know why, because you disagreed when you were 19. Some of you guys have sisters you haven't talked to, brothers you haven't talked to, because you disagreed 15 years ago. Some of you guys are mad at people for things that you don't even know anymore. Well, that's just the way it is. Some of you guys have dealt with the exact same thing, foster care. Abuse of the 50 kinds, mental neglect, all that. In relationships right now that you know aren't going to work, but you're trying to push through it. Or dealing with dads who aren't taking care of their kids right here in this room. Right here in this room. And I'm saying this because of this. You really want to make an impact? You really want to change somebody's life? Then you got to deal with your own issues. You got to deal with those own problems. Those things that happen to you, so you can better communicate with these individuals. And like when I say this, I mean it. Once you change somebody's life, you change somebody's life forever. But how hypocritical are we? Think about it. How hypocritical are we to say, yo, you got this, you got that, when we have our own issues that we're dealing with? We're all rowing the same boat. And I know we got directors and supervisors and managers and whatever and we all treat each other with this hierarchy. We're all rowing the same boat. We're all on the same mission. So let's act like it. Let's do those things so we can make an impact for the rest of your life. And I saw these kids up here. Not, you guys aren't kids, I'm sorry. I saw these young adults up here accepting these scholarships, telling their stories. Right? And that's because somebody believed them. And they still got a lot of work to do because life doesn't end at college. Life doesn't end once you graduate college. Life continues. And real life continues after you graduate because you're dealing with a lot of things. And we can teach people so much if we just deal with our own fears. And we deal with our own pressures. And we let people know, look, I'm not okay with this. Stand up for yourself. Stand up for something so we can make the biggest impact possible. But it all starts with you. It all starts with you. And I'm going to tell you why that's so important. Like I said, life throws curveballs. And life threw curveballs at me, and I was in 12 different foster homes, 2 different group homes by the time I was 12 years old. My childhood was non-existent. My mom's a certified crack addict. She has never recovered. Right? Still dealing with mental issues and things like that. I've never met my dad before in my life. You know how hard it is to have a little girl and not have a dad? Even though I had father figures in my life, still, there's always to be a part of me missing, always. No matter how hard I try, no matter how inspirational I am, no matter how hard I try to work on myself, there'll always be something missing. Because my dad wasn't there for me. And I was trying, this is honest to God, I was trying so hard not to be like my dad, I was becoming just like him. When I got to college, man, I wasn't worried about my kids. Oh, I'm having a kid, well, whatever. And they told me I wouldn't get to college. That's what I was fighting. Physical challenges, statistical challenges. Being African American, being male, being in multiple foster homes, 10 times more likely to end up in prison than we are to ever step foot on a college campus. 10 times more likely to end up in prison, not jail, prison, than end up on a college campus. 50% of us drop out of high school. I know I'm preaching to the choir. 50% of us drop out of high school, 12% make it to college, if that. 2 to 4% graduate, if that. So basically, by the time I was 18, they had my life summed up. You have no dad. You're going to end up on the streets. I've never been adopted. I spent 18 years in foster care. 18 years in foster care. I've never been adopted. The struggles of being male in general. The struggles of being a young black male. It was an uphill battle. But despite all that, you know what? I dealt with what I was dealing with. I said, you know what, dude? This is not their life. This is my life. These are my goals. And I'm not my dad. And I'm not my mom. And I'm for damn sure not my situation. I'm better than that. And there's people in my life, people in this room right now, you guys in the background, that showed me that I could be more. That showed me that I am more. That showed me that I can do more. And because of you, I graduated high school. I graduated high school in May 2005. I started Long Beach State, go Beach. Long Beach State, August 2005, and graduated May 2009. Now, we're here today because you guys serve students, and you serve me. And I'm here today to show you just the fruit of your labor, right here. Right? Who would have known? I've never thought, oh man, 10 years from now, Dee, the same people that help you get to where you're going, you're going to be able to help them. You're going to be speaking in front of them. 500, 600 of them, however many of you are here. Never in my wildest dreams. But that's what happens when you come together. That's what happens when you do the work that you do. And yeah, every now and then we're faced with budget cuts. And every now and then, every other month, somebody's threatening your program. All right? Oh, well, we're going to have to blah, 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 this and that. It's because they've never been in our situation. And they've never seen this. They're talking from the top down. People who have never dealt with kids in their life. Just because you got a degree, you can tell me that my program isn't worth anything. Well, you're wrong. You're wrong. So that's why we have to stand up. And that's why we have to do these conferences. And that's why we have to do better. And that's why we have to work together. Maybe your program isn't as good as, whatever, San Bernardino or Sacramento, blah, blah. We don't have to point fingers at each other. Work together. Help them get to where you are, so they can impact more students. Because life throws curveballs, and life threw the biggest curveball at me. This right here is my beautiful daughter, Jade. You know how that hair is like a black Rapunzel. My daughter's a normal, typical girl, man. She loves doing girly girl things. Loves playing dress up. She's half black, half Mexican. If you're Mexican here, you gotta play soccer at some point in your life. Your family will, no. This is her favorite thing to do. She loves playing dress up. Loves going to Disneyland, man, this kid. But see, we went from playing dress up like this to playing dress up like this. My daughter was diagnosed with a rare form of brain cancer when she was 4 years old. They literally had to cut her open her head, cut a piece of her brain out to get this tumor that's been growing. And one day we're all hooked up to chemotherapy. I'm in tubes everywhere, in and out her arms, in her chest, in her nose, all this, and she's having a rough night. And she sits up in her gurney, she looks at me and she asks, Dad, why me? what did I do to deserve this? But the question that really hit me is she asked that, can I make it? So I want you guys to watch this video about Jaden real quick.